Hello everyone and welcome to this video on the Python programming language. So in this video I will use the S&P 500 to determine the worst and best months for returns using Python. Now according to Investopedia, the S&P 500 is largely considered an essential benchmark index for the US stock market, and it is composed of 500 large cap companies across a breadth of industry sectors, and the index captures the pulse of the American corporate economy, which is why I'm going to do the analysis on the S&P 500. So, before we begin, if you like the videos on this channel, then be sure to click that subscribe and like button. And to be notified about new videos from this channel, hit that bell notification. Also, the material in this video is purely educational and should not be taken as professional investment advice. So, invest at your own discretion, as I am not a financial advisor. So, with all that being said, I'm currently on Google's website called colab.research.google.com. And I want it because it makes it really easy to start programming in Python. All you have to do is go to this website and then log in using your Google account and get started writing your Python code. So to get started writing this code, go ahead and click on File, then click on New Notebook, and a new tab open up for you, and then eventually a new cell. Okay, and now in this cell, in comments, I'm going to put in a description about the program. So I'm just going to put this program, determines the worst and best months for returns using Python. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new cell by clicking this code button in the top left. And now in this cell, I'm going to import the libraries that I want to use throughout the program. So I'm going to import pandas as PD. I'm going to import numpy as NP. And then I'm going to run that cell by clicking this button here to the left. And this will let me know if I made any mistakes. And I did not make any mistakes. So we're good to go. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. And next I'm going to load the stock data. So I'm just going to type from google.colab import files, and I'm just going to type files.upload to upload the file. So let's go ahead and run this cell. Click on choose files, and I'm going to choose the sp500.csv file to upload. And it's going to take a little time, but it should be done shortly. So let's just give it a minute. Okay, and it looks like it's almost done. All right, so now it's done, or almost done. There we go. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. And now in this cell, I'm going to store the data into a data frame. So I'm going to create a variable called df and set it equal to pd.read underscore csv. And I'm going to input the name of that CSV file, which is sp500.csv. And then I want to show the data. So I'm just going to type df here, and let's go ahead and run that. And so now we can see the data. So we can see that this data set contains 11,476 rows of data and 7 columns. And the dates range from 1974, or I should say December 31st, 1974 to what is that? June. Let's see, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, June 30th, 2020. Okay, and we have our columns here: the date column, the open price column, the high price column, the low price column, the close column, the adjusted close column, and then the volume column. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change these indices to be the date because we will use it later on. So I'm going to set the date as the index, and to do that, just set df equal to df dot set underscore index, and then input pd dot date time index, and then of course we want the values from the date, so put df dot date dot values. Okay, and let's go ahead and run this again, and now the date is the indices, or the dates are the indices. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new cell. And now in this cell, I'm going to create lists to store the returns of each day in that month. Okay, so there are 12 months within a year, so I'm going to have 12 lists. The first one I'm going to call Jan. I'm going to set it equal to an empty list. Feb, set it equal to an empty list. Of course, Jan for January, Feb for February, MAR for March, APR for April, MAY for May, and June will also just be June, JUNE. So I have a list for that. And then July, and I put a space there just to be consistent. Okay, and then August and September and October, then November and December. Okay. All right, next I'm going to create a function to get the returns for each month, and I'm going to append it to the corresponding list. So, and append it to the corresponding list. All right, so let's go ahead and call this function get underscore returns. It's going to take in some month and it's going to take in some returns. All right, now if the month is equal to 01, then we know that that's month 1, and month 1 is January. So I'm going to type jan dot append, and I'm going to append the returns for that month, but I want it to be a float, so I'm going to cast it as a float. So I'm just going to type float and then left parentheses and right parentheses, and there we go. Else if the month equals 02, then I know that that month is February, so I'm going to type feb dot append, and I'm going to basically append the same thing, the returns, but for that month, and then so on and so forth for the next few months. So I'm just going to highlight this, I'm going to copy it using Control C, and I'm going to paste this a few times. So using Control V. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I might have went over, but that should be good enough. So we have February done. We're going to do month 3, which is March, and then month 4 is April, month 5 is May, month 6 is June, and month 7 is July. All right, let's scroll down. Month 8 is August. Month 9 is September. And 10 would be October. 11, November. And 12 is December. And then I'm just going to put a else statement here. So if we don't go to any of those months, I'm going to print something is wrong with the input for month. Okay, so I think that that'll do it. Let's just count these months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 months. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and run this cell by clicking that button here to the left, and we're good to go. All right, so let's create a new cell. And now in this cell, we're going to calculate and show the daily simple returns. All right, so I'm going to create a variable called DSR, which will be short for daily simple returns. And I'm going to get the daily simple returns of the close price. So I'm going to put df close here, dot pct underscore change, and then input 1, or you can leave that blank, I believe. And they're going to create a new column called DSR on our, we're going to create this new column on our data set. So I'm going to set it equal to DSR, the variable that we just created, and then I want to show the data. So I'm just going to type df. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, and now we can see our new column called DSR, and we can see the daily simple returns. So pretty cool. All right, but you may notice that that first row has a NaN value, not a number. So let's go ahead and create a new cell, and let's get rid of that first row. So here we're going to remove the first row of data from the data set. So just set df equal to df from row 1 onwards, and then show the data. So just type df and let's run this. All right, so now we can see that first row is gone, and we're starting now with what was the second row. So if we go back up here, we can see that that value was in the second row. All right, so let's go ahead and create a new cell. And now in this cell, I want to create a loop to gather the daily simple returns of each month from the data set, and I want to append them to the list. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with that loop. We're going to use a for loop. So for I in range 0 to the length of our data set, I want to create a variable called df date, and I'm going to set it equal to df dot index at position I. So this is where our indices come in handy for the dates, and I want to cast this to be a string, so I'm going to enclose this in str, and then I'm going to create a variable called df underscore returns to get our, or to store our returns. So that's going to be in column dsr at position I, and then I want to get the month. So I'm going to create a variable called df underscore month to store the month, and we're going to get that month value, that value 1 through 12 from our df date. So just type df date dot split, and we're going to split on that dash, and then I want the value at position 1. Okay, so that looks good. Next, let's add the returns to the list corresponding to that month. So this is where we're going to use that function that we created earlier. So I'm just going to type get underscore returns, and we're going to input the month, so that's df underscore month, and we're going to input the returns, so that's df underscore returns. All right, so that should be it. Let's go ahead and run this, and there is some problems. So let's see what the issue is. Okay, name deck is not defined, so let's go back up here. Let's see where I may have messed up. So right here, I made deck a lowercase. It needs to be a capital D. So let's go ahead and run this cell again. All right, now let's go back down here. Let's just run this again just to make sure. All right, and then let's run this one again, and now let's run this, and everything's good. Okay, so let's create a new cell, and here I'm going to create a function to average the returns of each month. So let's call this function avg. It's going to take in a month, and then it's going to return its average. So it's going to return a list of its average, right? So we just need to sum all the values in month and divide it by the number of values, or the number of items within month. All right, and that's it. So let's go ahead and run that, and let's create a new cell. Now in this cell, I'm going to create a new data frame. Let's call it df underscore average avg, and let's set it equal to pd dot data frame. Okay, and next I want to get the average returns for each month and add the values under under a new column that I'm going to call avg. Okay, so let's create that new column. So just type df underscore avg, and I'm going to call this column avg, and I'm going to set it equal to avg jan plus avg feb, and I'm sure there's a better way of doing this than the way I'm doing it right now, but this is just a quick and dirty way to do this. So I'm on March. Let's see, April, AVG of May, AVG of June, AVG of July, AVG of August, AVG of September, and AVG of October, AVG of November, and AVG of December. So let's just check that I have all the months here. So we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. All right, so that looks good. So let's go down one line and let's set the index to be the corresponding integer value of the month. So just set df avg equal to df underscore avg dot set underscore index, and then put df underscore avg dot index plus 1. And let's go ahead and run this. All right, so we have a problem here. And did I misspell data frame here? Yes, so this needs to be a capital F. So let's go ahead and run this. And let's see what's wrong here. So I have all of my AVGs. Okay, right here. I put ACG. All right, so let's go ahead and run this again. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. And now I want to show the average monthly returns. So just type df underscore avg and let's multiply it times 100 to show a percentage. And let's run this. And there we go. So now we can see the returns for each month for this data set. So let's create a new cell and let's take a look at it more visually. So we're going to plot the average monthly returns. Okay. So to do that, it's pretty simple. Just type df underscore avg dot plot dot bar and let's run this. Okay, and there we go. So the chart shows us that April and November tend to be the best months for S&P 500 returns using this data set. So April is here, right? We have integer value 4, that's April, and integer value 11, that's November. Of course, April seems to be giving a higher return than November, but those two are the top dogs within this data set for giving us returns, or giving us the best months of returns for this data set. And the chart also shows that September tends to be the worst month for S&P 500 returns. So right here we can see September integer 9, and we can see that it is negative, right? So that's pretty cool that we can see this using data and using Python. I think it's pretty cool. Please let me know if I made any mistakes. And that's pretty much the end of the video. So if you want to start an investment portfolio of your own, you can click on the link below. I'll put it in the description, and you can get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850 on Webull when you deposit $100 or more. Also, thank you to the Patreon supporters supporting this channel. And if you would like to become a supporter on patreon.com or just get the code from this video and the data set, then I will leave a link for that as well. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.